Everybody, this is Sins of a Scorpion, and I'm coming at you with a mainstream wrestling DVD collection. Now, you will notice one thing about my collection, and I'm not going to say it right now, because I'm sure by the end of it, you're going to figure it out what I mean. I'll say it at the end, but you will realize very quickly why this is different. Okay, first up, we will do the Rise and Fall of ECW. Very, very good documentary about how Eastern Championship Wrestling became Extreme Championship Wrestling. A lot of Paul Heyman. There's definitely one thing I like about this is when TNN was trying to get ECW off air, so Paul Heyman just did a straight up, shoot on them, saying how they want to be kicked off. How, they're not being treated right because they wanted WWF at the moment. I hate that. But WWE on there, so they wanted to get him off. So it's just a great documentary. That's the first disc and the second disc. Now there are matches on here, of course. And yeah, I mean they have like Rey Mysterio, Taz on here, of course, RVD, Dean Malenko, and Eddie Guerrero on here. It's actually really good. It's damn near 3 hours long. Just the documentary itself. Very well done. Next up, ECW, The One Night Stand from 05. This is a pretty good one. See if this is the one I was thinking of. Okay, this is not the one. It's still good, but the other One Night Stand is way better. I mean, this is still a good one, because there's a lot of blood, a lot of just straight up ECW stuff, like what you would expect. I mean, it's really good. It's always good to see ECW in, every once in a while. Okay, now we'll do the next one. This one is my favorite one. This is the ECW One Night Stand. This is from 6/11 of 06, so it was a year afterwards. There's one match on here that made this DVD, and it was the Tommy Dreamer, Terry Funk, and Beulah versus Mick Foley, Edge, and Lita. Terry Funk got hurt really bad with his eye, but then he came back, and then, yeah, the ending was just freaking awesome. And we've always debated when this happened, when we were teenagers, whether it was real or if it was fake. So it's like, that was real. No, it was fake. It was meant to do that and whatnot. It was great, and it's always great to see John Cena get booed out of the building, or any other WWE wrestler at that moment. And there's also another thing about this DVD. Not only do you get the ECW One Night Stand, but you also get their very first pay-per-view, Barely Legal. Their best pay-per-view. I believe it was their first as well, from what I can remember from the Rise and Fall of ECW. Very, very cool. Next up, ECW Bloodsport. This is the most violent matches, and I believe it has the one with where Terry Funk pretty much gets hit in the eye. There's disc 1 and disc 2. Lot of good matches. The only thing that I really have a problem with a lot of these ECW DVDs is the fact that they don't have New Jack on there. And they don't have a lot of those. Like, they don't have, I can't remember his name, but he gets flipped off the front, or the top of this, like, scaffold, and he falls, he misses the majority of the tables, and he hits his leg on the ropes. And, of course, New Jack said he meant to do that. He was trying to kill the guy, but they don't have that on here, which should have been on here if it's the most violent matches. But of course, it's a WWE, release, so anybody WWE has a problem with or had a problem with will not be on there. Next up, Extreme Rules ECW once again. Another just compilations of matches, which is always a good thing. That's disc 1. And disc 2. See if I can figure out a couple of these. Like Dudley Boys versus Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. Rey Mysterio versus Robert Van Dam. Rob Van Dam versus Big Show, which was funny because Big Show got booed out, of course, because he's, you know, WWE. And the newest one from ECW is ECW Unleashed. I haven't actually finished watching this, but the matches they do have so far were pretty good. And here's Tommy Dreamer right there, and Taz right there. Something's probably going to fall out, and it did. Oh well, it's just advertisement. Taz and Shane Douglas, I believe. This is the first disc, and the second disc, and the third disc, which spells ECW. So, I mean, as far as I know, it's pretty cool so far. Like I said, I've only gotten through the first disc. I haven't gotten through the other two discs. Next up, WCW, The Rise and Fall. Another good documentary. Not as good as it could have been, because you can tell Vince McMahon absolutely hated WCW, and still does to this day. Hates WCW, because it's always one-sided. Like with ECW, it wasn't that bad, like the hate and whatnot, but whenever it comes to WCW, because they almost put WWF or E out of shop, almost made him, you know, close up shop, that, you know, he just has a problem with WCW, and I've always loved WCW. Good. And here's the kind of the inside. Of course, you got Goldberg, not that fake ass Ryback. There's that, and there's the first disc, the second disc, and the third disc. Now this also has a lot of matches in it. Not as good as what it could be, but they do have a lot of matches. And of course, they actually do talk to, like, Eric Bischoff on there, because during that time he was with WWE. So, but yeah. So I mean, it's pretty cool. It's a good one. The ECW one is better, just because it has more information on it. But I mean, if you're into WCW like I was, then that's something to have. Next good thing is WCW, the best of Monday Night of Nitro. Of course, NWO, Diamond Dallas Page, Sting, Goldberg, Ric Flair, the Giant. This is the back. This is nothing but matches, which is just awesome. It's the first disc, the second, and the third. Obviously, they missed a lot of great matches. Still a good something to have if you're like, oh man, WWE is just too PG. Then you put that in and you see great action. Next up is Starrcade, the Essential Collection. Inside, and this spans, most of these discs, most of them span 3 discs. Booklet in there, 1, 2, and 3. And once again, they neglected a couple of matches that should have been on here, but because WWE, Vince McMahon hates WCW, they hold a lot back. I don't know, maybe they're going to do like a volume 2 of the best of Nitro and Starrcade. And finally, or not finally, but the Clash of Champions, the best of WCW, the Clash of Champions. This is the back. Again, documentary is very, very not there. It's more matches. Dusty Rhodes, I think Dusty Rhodes is on this one, explaining about it, about the Clash of Champions. Again, if you're into WCW, and like you're a hardcore WCW fan from back then, definitely grab this, and any WCW, because I would love to see more of the archive footage coming out instead of staying with Vince McMahon. Only thing is, I wish they'd stop doing the hate on WCW. Now, the absolute newest thing that came out on November 6th, I actually went 150 miles for this. NWO, The Revolution. Very, very, very cool. Again, the documentary is only an hour and like 3 minutes, 6 minutes, something like that. And they don't have interviews with Eric Bischoff or Hulk Hogan or Hall. But of course, the first two, they're contracted with TNA. I knew that wasn't going to happen. And Scott Hall is so screwed up that I knew he wasn't going to be on here either. I was hoping that he was going to be on here, but I kind of figured he wasn't going to be, which is sad. X-Pac makes him an appearance to do an interview, and so does Kevin Nash. Here's the back. That's the slipcase. The front and the back are the same as the slipcase. And the 2 DVDs. Now, if you got the Blu-ray version of it, like this one, it comes with a 90-minute round table. It has Mean Gene, Kevin Nash, J.J. Dillon, JR, and I can't remember that last guy. He used to wrestle back in the 80s, so I should remember him. But anyway, this is a good one. It has a crap ton of matches on it. It's actually runs for, let's see if it'll actually do it. It says right there for 9 hours, and that's the majority of it is matches. And like I said, the second disc does contain the 90-minute round table discussion of the NWO, where of course JR is just sick of it and he doesn't even seem like he wanted to be there. And the other thing is Cody Rhodes is also on there, not on the round table but on the documentary, and I think he was the only WWE superstar that actually seemed like he gave a crap, mainly because his, Dusty Rhodes, ran WCW, so he has a little more a good memory or a good thinking on WCW than like what JR did. Even Booker T, the only thing he says about the NWO is he remembers is the music. It's like, what? But they could have gotten more, like Diamond Dallas Page on there. They could have gotten Rey Mysterio on there, and after he got lawn darted into the back into the side of the trailer by Kevin Nash. I mean, they could have gotten so much more people that aren't contracted to TNA. So, but anyway, that's my mainstream wrestling DVDs and one Blu-ray. Now, in case you haven't noticed, there's not one WWE dedicated to WWE, like the oh my god moments or the top 100 moments of Raw or SmackDown or any of that crap. I don't have any of those, for one good reason, because WWE is not good. It sucks. The only thing good was the Attitude Era, and they have that to, and they have this to thank for it. I don't care if Vince McMahon wants to admit that crap or not. Is the reason why they went with Attitude. Of course, ECW too. I mean, don't get me wrong. ECW and WCW is what made them go that way. And the way it's been going, TNA, it seems like TNA is going to get to the point of WCW, and it's going to start winning the wars against WWE, even though it's on Thursdays and not Mondays. Don't be surprised if it goes back to Monday. Especially with this whole Aces and Eights thing, it's been getting a heck of a lot better. So, but they just need more female wrestlers at TNA instead of just losing them, because there's only like 3 there, and they keep getting in the same fight with each other. Actually 4, and they keep getting in the same fight. It's starting to get boring. Like the angles, but it's just boring. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.